Welcome to Ministers Talking a weekly program where Rev Briz and Rev Z and their guests chat about current affairs, world events, spiritual principles, and any old they want to talk about. Based on the new thought philosophy and ancient wisdoms, Ministers Talking shares a visionary perspective of the evolving spiral called spiritual living. Join us each week as we explore the emerging paradigm of life on planet Earth and beyond.
And hello again, dear ones. Dr. Robert, forgetting to turn off the banner there. Good morning.
Elzia. Hey, Z right here. All ready for the fall, and today's a magic day, right? All Halloween, All Hallows Eve is on us, so good day.
And look at us, we forgot to wear costumes this morning. But I did dig out my
myself.
It was yourself. I did dig out my leaf blower yesterday and got the long extension cord out, and I didn't get out blowing leaves yet. I figured if I give it one more day and see if a little more will come down before I got to do the first leaf blowing of the season, we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, that that's interesting, because I had the same thought. I'm going to go out and cut it and mulch it and put it in a compost, but the last little bit of leaves won't come down. They're just there. So yeah, I feel that.
Exactly.
So before we get started, have you seen or heard of the I don't know, fluke on Halloween now where they give out potatoes?
I have not heard about people giving out potatoes. No.
Yeah, they had a whole thing on CBS yesterday, I think it was, or day before, on kids they got a bowl of candy, and the kids can get a potato or candy, and they've been picking candy. I don't know if it's just a crazy fad, but it's been going on for a few years. So it'll be an interesting story, humorous, upbeat story for people to look at.
I could see handing out a can of food to people. Maybe the adults. I don't know if I do, but I don't know if I'd give it to the teenagers. So, and it's interesting. So let's go there for a minute, because I've been hearing more and more, and this is reassuring. I was on a call on a presentation yesterday, and someone with some knowledge of the information was sharing that there is a plan in place in California that if federal SNAP benefits are not actually paid tomorrow or Monday or whenever it would happen, California State has an emergency fund in plan to help to do. I need to find out if that's true here in Colorado or not, and because for some of our viewers in some states across this nation, our neighbors and people we know may be losing their food benefits this month and not and need a can of soup more than a candy bar. So I'm kind of that type. I think I'd tell my kid, take the potato if there is one. Like, you get more than enough candy. If there's a potato, if there's a can of soup out there, grab that. You got enough candy to last you for a day or two. You get some food for the house. But it feels like it's a really tough, because we are in this country right now, right? And you and I were talking before the break. We're talking about nuclear testing. We're talking about all these horrible things that are going on in the nation right now. But of them all, the biggest is food insecurity. And that's something we've been dealing with for a very, very long time. And we've never fully been able to manage let's say, the problem or the concern or the challenge of food insecurity in this country. But let's not be coy and pretend it's not there. There is so many people
Well,
across
you
the
know, yeah, no, absolutely. And what we're seeing now is a results, I believe, of tearing the whole system apart. They have come in, the current administration then tore a system that was wickety wackety, but it tried to work. They've torn that apart and created something that's heading for a wreck. Not only is the SNAP, the food, I mean the air travel, food. I saw something, I don't know, 1,000 or so people, 1,500 people who work for the federal government. I mean, in food lines.
Yeah.
In DC metro area. I mean, and I mean, the problems, right? He also has now control of the government. So if people get unruly, I mean, he can get the military. That's what he's doing. He's blowing ships up in the ocean without any. Now's the time to start showing that we believe in the people.
Yeah. I'm starting to wonder if America watched a few too many dystopian movies as kids. Did we watch a few too many of those dystopian, post-apocalyptic, like, spent late nights watching all this crap on TV, and now it's outpicturing through the experience of the American people, because I'm trying my best, Z, and I'm getting to that point of absolute, complete apathy of that. Well, yeah, hadn't thought about it, but of course this idiot would say we need to start testing nuclear weapons again. Like, yeah, okay, wait a minute. Now that you say it, it makes perfect sense in his playbook. And I feel a little bit like the idiot for not seeing it coming. But again, I'm not exactly in a position to do it much about it. And I feel like we should start a campaign.
You know, another.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, start a campaign.
Let's start.
Because I lost the trend, but you know, when will we begin to realize that anything towards one side taking over all things, the right in this case, the balance goes off, and that's what we're seeing now. I mean, you think about having the judicial, the defense, and the executive order all together. They can do a whole whatever. I mean, there's no checks and balances. So that's why we the people, we have to come together and begin to realize the election's coming up. We got an election here in my county on the 4th.
Yep.
We have to get involved in the system. If the doctor tells us we're sick, he says you have to do these things. Now you have to get a doctor you trust, but if you intend to get better, and 99% of the time you do get better, you follow those instructions. We're not. We're following one of the instructions.
Right. I feel like somehow we need to start calling every single Republican of any sort in government and start reading them the Riot Act. and start just, and I don't want to lower, and it feels like that. I don't want to lower myself to the tactics that they use. But when these guys come right out and are lying to people and bullying people, and it feels like the only thing to do is match energy. And I want new thought. I want myself. I want my friends. I want to be in a world. I want to live in a society where we don't do that, where that isn't a thing. Oh, I'm just matching energy. Bullshit. You don't have to be an asshole just because I am, and I don't have to be an asshole just because you are. But when and I've been doing this for 20 years, and it's still tough. Right? How do we help people to see that there's
but you see, you assume well, we are religious scientists, right? And we deal with the science of the whole universe. So when we begin to understand energy, and that positive and negative energy have to coexist, or there is nothing to exist, right? And we've lost the basic, the prime, which is, in anything, if you start studying math, if you start studying higher electronics, engineering, architecture, is you have to have a prime understanding of forces and energies and all that. And that's what created this, right? We lost that by being greedy, thinking that there's not enough energy to go around, however it's displayed. The source, the universe is one, eternal, absolute. And we forgot that. And that's why we get these kind of, I'm hearing stories that at senior citizen centers in Milwaukee, they've got all kind of problems, running rampant. And so that's the next one, right? A lot of seniors are on, we're checking the families, you got a lot of seniors on SNAP.
Right.
And so they're going to be affected too. So now, you got double whammy on people getting affected by people all those cats are still getting paid. All them cats still got food in their refrigerator.
Yeah.
And one last thing, this is what happens when masculinity rules and there's no feminine anywhere. This is what happens.
Yeah. No, you can see that the testosterone is running rampant, because we're not even hearing from Lauren Boebert anymore. Like, we don't even hear Lauren Boebert's name.
But daylight saving time is on its way. Say that again.
I said the masculinity is running rampant because we don't even hear of Lauren Boebert anymore. The masculinity is so overtaken even the feminine craziness in that perspective that I heard you say something about Marjorie Taylor Greene's going to be on The View, but we heard her.
Yep.
Boebert and Green, we heard their names every single day in the run up to the election. They were out there beating the drum. They were out there being made all famous by the machine. And then Trump got into office, and we ain't heard peep from either of them, really. Little squeaks here and there, but we haven't heard. But so I'm with you. In this instance, we need that balance. How do we get back to the balance of working together rather than constantly trying to fight each other?
Well, think about, so now Marjorie Greene is supposed to be on The View. I'm gonna watch, but I don't know the area or the district that she supports or that she takes care of, but I'm not sure they're affluent, right? And they're going to be affected by, continue to be affected, because tomorrow's food stamps will dry up, right? If we stick, and then on top of that, daylight saving times is going to happen on Sunday, or Saturday between Sunday.
Yes.
So it's going to be darker early. So, that okay.
Yes. And You know, if you don't turn your clock back, folks, you'll be late to church. So be on time. We don't like seeing that. So, hey, if we talk about politics for too long, I'm going to get all depressed here this morning. So let's talk about something fun. Let's talk about the NFL. Oh wait, no, there's politics there too now, isn't there? Shit. The NFL has announced that they are scrapping the plans to have a Bad Bunny concert during the NFL halftime in 2026. They will instead be hosting. You ready for it? This just feels like so defeatist, but Sting. And folks, I want you to know, I got nothing against Sting. I like the music of the Police. It wasn't exactly, groundbreaking in my opinion, but I like the music of the Police. I like what Sting has done in his career. But I don't know. It feels like he's jumping into a dead man's grave here or something, and not by his own choice. And the NFL completely collapsing in the face of politics.
I like Sting. I know nothing about Bad Bunny but Bad Bunny's name. I haven't listened to his music. I know he's I know he's from he's Latina and he has like a reggaeton that kind of music from a couple of hits I heard. But I personally would prefer Sting just because I don't know who Bad Bunny is, and I don't even know what his support is. I need to go see. I don't know if they're on his case because he's spoken out against the administration or what. I don't. What's the beef with him? Why don't they want him there?
He has made comments. It isn't even like he's been vocal against the administration. He has just made comments that he doesn't agree with some of the policies that the administration has made. And to me, I think that's the bigger issue here. So
that makes two of them.
He's from Puerto Rico.
That makes two of us, right?
Yep, exactly. Three of us. Yeah, exactly. So he's from Puerto Rico, which makes him American, people. For everybody out there arguing that he's not American, he is American.
Oh, yeah.
He's born and raised in Puerto Rico. That's America, whether you like it or not. And he so he's been a little vocal against some of the policies. He hasn't exactly been like jumping up and down on or any of that kind of, but he hasn't been like actively politicking against the administration. It's not like he's an activist. He's an artist. He makes music. He comes from an American territory, and he's popular with the kids. And to lay the kind of pressure to and everybody says, I keep hearing this. Can't we just keep politics out of it? Can't we keep politics out of it? But the problem is the far right is the one that
what that says to me is obviously I gotta go. I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'll have to go check him out, check out his lyrics, right? Because since he's the entertainer, his statement is in his music, so I need to listen to the lyrics, not the beat, see what he's saying. And I hate to see them take the opportunity away from the brother, for sure. But they're looking at dollars, as we already know. I mean, we see the mess the NBA has gotten itself into with the gambling issues, real or imagined or however people want to, they're going. But we do know they had electronic glasses and see-through tables and card rigging, shuffling machines. That part they know. So again, people have to become first. All people not just a few people with everything who dictate and control everybody else, right? Because that we didn't do this at the top of the program, and that is sending prayers, money, and food to Jamaica and Haiti and Dominican Republic, and I'm not sure what the storm did in the Bahamas and Bermuda farther out. But I know in Jamaica, the island of Jamaica on the western side looks like a war zone.
Yeah.
There's like in the beginning, there were like 25,000 American tourists stuck in Jamaica when this thing came. Now, those numbers might be elevated. I don't know. But there were a lot of tourists there over the island. And
Jamaica gets hit. In my lifetime,
why we have to work together, because at any moment.
Yeah. I have to believe that.
Say it again.
Well, in my lifetime, I can't remember specific instances, but in my lifetime, I'm pretty sure Jamaica's gotten hit by more than a few hurricanes in the last 50 years. This may have been stronger than they're used to. It may have been bigger than, but I also, so yes, hearts are out for Jamaica, and I would love to see more effort to support folks there. I feel fairly lucky. The people that I know there have been relatively unaffected. Their homes are still standing. Their churches are still standing. They're out in the streets helping people rebuild rather than looking for people to help them rebuild. That's a win in my book. And to me, that's part of the power of prayer in all of this, is that the New Thought communities there in Kingston and other places around the Kingston area were not badly affected. Maybe a little bit of damage, but not badly affected, and are able to help the recovery process in it all. And it's, for me, this is another one. It's like there is just so much that keeps getting piled on top of piled on top of piled on top of piled. That because how do you feel for Jamaica and not feel for the people of Buxton, North Carolina, which is a slow-moving disaster, even though most of the American public are just now becoming aware that this disaster has been perpetuated by the U.S. government for the last 30 years simply because of neglect. And so we have a fast-moving storm where the locals are going to come out okay. And truthfully, any tourist caught on Jamaica, I don't have an awful lot of sympathy for you, because we had plenty of time. You had plenty of time to cut your vacation short and get out of town before that hit the island. Everybody knew it was going to hit. For days and days, you could have been like, so any American that wants to cry that their vacation got ruined, I don't have much sympathy. But I do have a lot of sympathy for the people of Buxton, North Carolina, that have been begging for 3 decades for somebody to do something, and they could have prevented the loss of over 25.
And what's going on there?
So Buxton is a small barrier island.
I'm not familiar with.
Buxton is a small barrier island in North Carolina. The high point of the island is about 59 feet above sea level. The U.S. government abandoned a jetty that has been needing repairs for over 30 years. Part of an old naval base that a little naval spit that was on this island. And they built a jetty to protect the island. Well, when the naval base closed, the government abandoned the jetty. Now, people have been living on on this island for years, and not just, and well, like thousands of years, long before. They have traces of human inhabitants way back on this island. And because of the jetty breaking down, now the ocean is starting to claim homes something I learned, if you're watching the news right now,
Yes.
the houses that are being taken by the ocean, that are being hammered by waves, just a couple of years ago, were 3 blocks back behind the dunes. The island has lost over 150 feet inland in the last few years because this jetty failure that continues to degrade and get worse. And 25 homes have been lost to the ocean in Buxton, North Carolina, just in this year. And like they're up to 10 or 12 in the last week or so that are falling into the ocean because
I saw that. But you talking about again, now if you're talking about, we're talking sides, that is a danger zone. People only with money who have those houses, right? I would love one, but it costs money to have I grew up in Florida. I grew up around the beaches. It is a scenic, meditative view. But when we look at the ebb and flow of the universe, and we've increased global warming that no one wants to, we can call it hot, whatever they want to call it, it's melting ice. And it is causing things to go faster than they think. If we go back and look at the map of Pangea, almost all the water was everywhere. And this land emerged out of the water.
Yes.
It's the cycle. The water's coming back. If we don't correct what the heck we're dealing with here, energy called life, right? That's what we have to realize.
So to me, this is a both and kind of thing. Yes. Right. Scientists are saying this experience is not so much driven on climate change, however, though, that if the jetties had been maintained properly over time, we wouldn't be seeing this.
That's one thing.
This wasn't actually the rich and famous.
Well, and I think that's no, I think if I remember the story, I know there's a story somewhere in the Carolinas where there's some land that were owned by blacks, and they came and put a military facility and ran all the people off, and then that thing started, and now, there's this, because they weren't supposed to take the land, but now that people are trying to figure out, our ancestors or descendants rather want to say, hey, this was supposed to be our land and we're supposed to get it back. So I'm familiar with that story for sure.
Yeah.
But so we really want to get to go back and give people who had the land, the black families, the land, the houses, they took over that because. But for me, it goes to show that we live in an ebb and flow universe. No matter what situation or instance or issue we have, we are going to face something that's contrary or counter to that. That's the universe. So we have to begin to understand the universe and what it means to be a community, a whole community, the planet, the universe. Now I'm going cosmic, right? Mystic, but that's how we have to look at it, because all these things are affecting everything on this planet. And when we look at the science that's coming out now, it is getting weird and weird of what can be done and how it can be done. And so we're looking at an energy intelligence that's moving. And we have to get in sync. We have to get it balanced.
Yeah. There is now, interestingly enough, I've also seen video along this line here in Buxton, North Carolina. There's still a couple of houses that haven't fallen, but that are in serious danger. Some of these houses were already scheduled to be moved to plots of land further inland. And what has happened is the community has really come together and has rallied around doing everything they can to help preserve these remaining homes before they get consumed. And rather than saying, and one of them is an elderly couple that have lived in the home for a number of decades. And I saw a video of community members driving new pilings into the sand to help hold this house up until they can get it moved. And when I see that, I'm pissed off that the government let this happen. I'm pissed off that the powers that be just abandoned these people for so long. But I'm also very reassured that the people themselves are neighbors, and this has been the new, right? This has been the call all along. But get thyself into a community. Like the best thing I think we all can do, and not just, oh yeah, I show up there on occasion, or I go to this place on every other Sunday or once a month if I feel like it, but actually get thyself into community with the people that you will go run into an ocean for to help them save their home, because they'll run into the ocean to help you save yours.
Yeah. And this should be you talked earlier, and this is another reinforcement of why we have to be in community, because everybody can't do everything or be everything, and we can pass stuff around. But when you go back, you said the government and what they're doing. I can go back even further and more dramatic. And if I go to the Tuskegee experiment that the government did in Tuskegee, Alabama, with medical,
right?
Telling people they were curing them of syphilis and then shooting them up with syphilis to see what the whole maturation of syphilis was in a black city, black community. So, and I guess that, people who come from the margins, if you will, people who they call melanin, right? Or if you came from the margin, they understand this kind of thing, that when a government gets out of hand and its principles and laws are not being upheld, it can get mad scientists crazy.
Yeah.
And that's why you got to be in community. We have to work together, because the tendency is always there. That is something you have a situation that is not optimal. Put your other word on it. We're looking for a way to make it optimal. Now you could call it good or bad or whatever. It's either optimal or less optimal. That's what we got to remember and build community.
Give a shout out to our friend Mara, who's with us today. She's been chiming along and chatting along with us. Thank you, Mara, for being part of the conversation. And yes, be in community. Get thyself to community. There's the word of the day. There's the thought of the day. I don't know that we need to go too much further than that, but we have. So, and remember to turn your clocks back if you are of that persuasion. I'd like to welcome all my friends in Arizona back to the best time zone in the nation, Mountain Time. Every year about this time, all our friends in Arizona come back to the Mountain Time. They flee Arizona. They're like snowbirds. In the spring, they leave the Mountain Time zone, and then in the winter, they come back. Like reverse snowbirds, I guess. But welcome back to the Arizona folks. Change your clocks, everybody else. And it's lift up our friends, lift up our neighbors, and get thyself into community.
Yeah. That's why they say one love.
One love, exactly. All right. Hey, folks, we're going to get out of here for now, but we've got a full day of programming ahead. Please stay with us throughout the morning. Get Rich 101 comes up soon here with Sekou Writes. 8:15 is the morning prayer. 8:30, the morning sip with Rev Melissa. 9:30, Viviendo de Oración, Living in Prayer with our Spanish language prayer team. Later today, it's the High Vibe Hour with Rev Skip. The Joy Show at 1 o'clock with Reverend Barbara Jean. The Good News at 5, and the Fireside Chat at 6. So again, a full day of broadcasting here on New Thought Media Network. Check us throughout the day. Check us throughout the week. Thank you, Mara. We love you as well. Glad you're with us. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let your friends and family know what we're doing here on New Thought Media Network. On behalf of myself and my brother Elzia here, we'll be back again next week with more of Ministers Talking Shit. Until then, we wish you peace and richest blessings. Bye now.
And thanks for listening to this week's episode of Ministers Talking. We'll be back again next week with more commentary on current affairs, world events, and any other our ministers want to talk about. And if you found value here, please share our with your friends. Until next time, peace and blessings.